One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, Vietnam. Shit, what's good with everyone, man? Much love, honor, respect to all of you freaking legends for being here and hanging out with us, man. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. Listen, we got a big one today. We got a lot to discuss. As you guys know, over the weekend there was a lot to, there was a lot in the fucking media. So we're going to be covering quite a few things. The way that I have this labeled today is we got the President Trump and Zelensky latest news, as well as Melania Trump will be speaking here in a bit later on today. She is going out, I guess, sometime today. I don't know what time exactly, to be honest. I looked it up, couldn't find it. As well as some Israel attack updates. Guys, there's a lot of shit going on in the Middle East. So, yes, there is going to be quite a bit of coverage of Israel today. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so, by the way. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because it's also free, man. Also, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not going to break the bank to anybody, hopefully. And if it is going to break the bank, don't do it, man. Seriously. But this is how we continue to do our thing over here. You know what I mean? Also, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time. And Discord, of course, is linked in the description of every single live video, man. And last but not least, man. Last but not least, okay? Every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, of course, are going to be shouted out onto the show. But listen, man, if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily and skip that brutal YouTube 30% cut, we've got these platforms down below that are going to be scrolling for the remainder of the show. And of course, I'll be shouting those out as they come in, man. So good to see everybody. Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic morning. We got Screw Plan up in the building. Shout out to my man right there. We got Naomi as well as Gary, brother Slim. She organized the Saturday. Good to see you. We got Allegedly up in the building. Hopefully you're doing fantastic as always. Good to see you. We got Anson Knowles, man. W to me for gracing you with my presence. That is true, bro. That is true. Good to see you, Anson. Yes, he follows everybody. He follows me too, so don't take it too personal. We got Tiffany as well. Appreciate you guys, man, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And real quick, I want to give a very special shout out to Tats over there in the UK, man. She sent in, before the live had even started, she sent in a gifted membership, and that gifted membership went over to Imperius. Actually, I saw that. I very much appreciate that. And she sent in a 5 British pounds. We love British currency over here. Okay, we love that shit. Good. She says, good morning, afternoon, breakfast club. One big happy family of degenerates. Absolutely fucking true, by the way. So thank you, Tats, for your, help on the show, man. I very much appreciate that. I see Brother VT up in here as well. Wanted to thank my man for being in here, as well as brother Tony, is Dwayne. Good to see you guys. Brother Steve, easy up in the building. Shit, XV3 shit. Good to see you, my man. All right, let's go ahead and get into the fucking craziness. We're gonna go ahead and actually, believe it or not, we're starting off with Israel and what is happening. Give you guys a little update, and then we're going to be going into Russia, Ukraine immediately right after, and then we're going to be going into regards to President Trump and Zelensky latest updates and shit like that. That's when we will talk about that. So let's go ahead, without further ado, check it out.
We do begin with some breaking news.
Wow, why are the fucking lives so loud today? That's weird. All right, I brought it down.
Out of the Middle East on this Monday morning, as you take a live look right here out of Haifa, Israel, where one person has died, 4 others wounded in a stabbing attack.
A stabbing attack. So one person dead and 4 others injured from a stabbing attack. What is happening
here in Haifa? I did want to bring you the very latest details, as a 70-year-old man was killed.
Brother Pitbull, by the way, my man over there in the UK as well, saying, remember to rev that like button and drop the clutch on the share button to wheel spin the show out of here. Hope you're better than me. Hey, appreciate you, man. Hopefully you're doing fantastic, honestly, dude.
And 4 other people wounded in a stabbing attack today in the northern Israeli city of Haifa. Israeli authorities said the assailant was killed. Now, the attack took place in a central transit hub. You're taking a live look at that transit hub.
And I believe this is like a more northern part of Israel, a city in the northern aspect of Israel.
That's according to Israeli police. It's not immediately clear who killed the attacker, who police say was an Israeli citizen, and they did not disclose more details about his identity.
Are you serious? Brother Pitbull says he got stabbed yesterday at work. What? Are you serious, bro? What the fuck? You guys, especially over there in the UK, I mean, because you guys lack, actual firearms, but I understand why you guys have a whole bunch of knife play over there, but hopefully you're all right, dude. Lappy, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic, as well as Brother Warland. Appreciate you, both you guys, for hanging out. We got Kathy on the Facebook side of things, doing fantastic. Thank you for asking, by the way. I see you, as well as Brother Wes up in here. Yes, my man. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. What's good with everyone? Shit. Sent you pictures and everything on WhatsApp. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's fucking terrible. I was just about to say that. I hope that you didn't get the worst end of it. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into this.
The attack took place as regional tensions are high surrounding the ceasefire in Gaza, and police say they are treating this as a militant attack. Now, the head of Emergency Rescue Service has told Israeli media that 4 people were wounded in that stabbing attack, another one critically wounded by gunfire. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister
motherfucking gunplay out here, cuh. Shit.
Benjamin Netanyahu has apologized to a freed Israeli hostage for taking so long to secure his release. That's according to his office today. According to a statement from Netanyahu's office, the Israeli leader told the hostage, who was released last month as part of a ceasefire with Hamas, quote, "I am sorry that it took us so long. We fought hard to get you out." Now, the hostage was released after 16 months in captivity.
That is true, OI. That's very true.
To discover that his wife and 2 teenage daughters were killed during Hamas's October 7th, 2020.
What's up, Imperius? You got a gifted sub this morning, by the way. Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing good.
Attack. And that hostage is set to meet with President Trump in Washington on Tuesday. Netanyahu said the meeting was important, and the hostage responded, according to the statement, that perhaps, quote, "with joint efforts, we will bring this whole saga to an end." We did want to bring you the very latest there. Meanwhile, Israel has cut off the entry of all food and other goods in.
Yes, and that's going to be a thing, believe it or not, Netanyahu is going to discuss here in a brief moment. We're going to hear from Netanyahu on, it's like a 2-minute ordeal. It's not a long, drawn out thing. It's like 2.5 minutes. But yeah, they did stop, basically any type of aid in that aspect. Yes.
Into Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And the United Nations and other humanitarian aid providers, they are criticizing this decision, calling it a violation of international law. Meanwhile, the ceasefire's first phase ended early yesterday. Minutes later, Israel said it supported a new proposal to extend that phase through the Jewish holiday of Passover in mid-April. It called the proposal
I know. I can't help it, Steve. I can't help it. Look what's happening in the media. I can't fucking help it.
US one from one of the Mideast envoys, and Israel also warned it could resume the war after the first phase if it believes.
My main man, Papa Penguin, up in the building, as well as Brother Straightjacket, XV3 shit right there. What's up, good homie? Hopefully you're doing fantastic this morning and chilling with a nice, left-handed tobacco joint or something like that.
Negotiations are ineffective. Negotiations on the second phase.
By the way, everyone hit that motherfucking like button. Like, I command it. Very much appreciate you guys. I don't ask for anything else. I just ask for you guys hit that fucking like button. Come on. Thank you, guys.
These were meant to start a month ago, increasing the uncertainty around this ceasefire. Hamas has insisted that those talks begin. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu taking a moment to thank President Trump for this support
Also
from the
true.
U.S. And I did want to play that out for you right now.
I want to thank President Trump for his unwavering support for Israel. During my recent visit to Washington, I said that Donald Trump is the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And President Trump shows that friendship each and every day. He has shown it through his visionary plan for Gaza. This is a plan which Israel fully supports. He's shown it by sending us all the munitions that were being held up.
Hold on, Pitbull. This is actually ideal time to go ahead and smoke with you. You know what I mean? Let me pull out this left-handed tobacco real quick. Shit. All right. See, I'm not going to leave the homie hanging. No, I'll stop the whole damn show if I want to be able to do this shit. So cheers, Brother Pitbull, and everybody else that's getting down with their bad self. Feels ultra good, dude. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
This way, he's giving Israel the tools we need to finish the job against Iran's terror axis. And
Brother Boulay, by the way, I'm sorry to stop it again. I should have announced it before I did the pause again, or unpaused it. But we got Alabama's finest, and I just had to announce it. Good to see you, as well as Bujikon. Always, it is 420 somewhere. That is
shown
true.
it by fully backing Israel and putting the pressure to release the hostages where it truly belongs, on Hamas.
Be safe, Orlin.
Israel has accepted President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff's plan to extend the temporary ceasefire by 50 days. During that time, we can discuss the conditions for a permanent ceasefire that will end the war in Gaza. In Witkoff's plan, half of the hostages would be released right away, and the remaining half would be released if we reach an agreement on a permanent ceasefire. Again,
I'm just now seeing this, and shit. Yeah, hey, someone's got to do it.
Israel has accepted this plan. I accepted this plan. But so far, Hamas has rejected it. Hamas had also put forward positions for a permanent ceasefire that are totally unacceptable. Israel has decided to stop letting goods and supplies into Gaza, something we've done for the past 42 days. We've done that because Hamas steals the supplies and prevents the people of Gaza from getting them. It uses these supplies to finance its terror machine.
What he's saying is absolutely correct. I mean, we even know that, in those supplies, there'll be, that is sent by them or even us that was funding it through the UN and all this bullshit, right? For instance, there would be in these pallets and different trucks and all this shit, there'd be like cigarettes, food, all this stuff. And they do steal it. Hamas steals this shit and then sells it back to their own people in Gaza, their own people. And it'd be one thing if they just sold it for a normal price, even though it was supposed to be free in the fucking first place. But instead, this is how bad it got. That a single cigarette, not a pack of cigarettes, a single cigarette in Gaza is $10 fucking dollars. Yeah, that's what happens when you get terrorists that fucking have control over the people.
Which is aimed directly at Israel and our civilians. And this we cannot accept. We will take further steps if Hamas continues to hold our hostages. And throughout this, Israel knows that America and President Trump have our back. Thank you again, President Trump. Thank you for all you're doing to return our hostages, bolster our security, and provide a future of prosperity and peace for all the peoples of the Middle East.
So that was
That's right, Naomi. Lay your claim. Absolutely.
Very latest from Israeli Prime Minister.
Yo, Miss Lotus, always appreciate you. We're about to move on into Russia, Ukraine right now, ladies and gentlemen. And see, it wasn't that long of a segment. Shit.
Benjamin Netanyahu turning now to Ukraine as European leaders have agreed to steps towards Ukraine peace. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and European leaders have outlined a plan to end the Ukraine-Russia war. They met with Ukrainian President Zelensky yesterday in London, with Starmer saying, quote, every nation must contribute to that in the best way that it can, bringing different capabilities and support to the table, but all taking responsibility to act, all stepping up their own share of the burden. Starmer said that he had worked with France and Ukraine on a plan to end the war, and that the group of leaders, mostly from Europe, had agreed on.
Yeah, that's fucking strange, isn't it? Papa Penguin? It's fucking wild.
4 things. 1, keeping aid flowing to Kyiv and maintain economic pressure on Russia to strengthen.
Hey, gotta have hoes in every area code. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Way of life.
Ukraine's hand to make sure Ukraine at the bargaining table is at the bargaining table, and any peace deal must ensure its sovereignty and security, and continue to arm Ukraine to deter future invasion. And finally, Starmer said that they would develop a coalition of the willing to defend Ukraine and guarantee the peace. Now, it is far from certain whether Russian President Putin will accept any of these plans, which Starmer said would.
Wes, I got you, homie. I got you.
Require strong U.S. backing. He did not specify what that meant, although he did tell the BBC before the summit that there were intense discussions to get a security guarantee from the United States. Starmer said that he will later bring a more formal plan to the U.S. and work with.
No, I wasn't talking about you, Naomi. You ain't no hoe.
President Trump. All of this coming after a heated exchange between President Trump and Zelensky at the White House on Friday. And I wanted to share the very latest from President Trump as he took to Truth Social, saying, quote, we should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant.
Yo, we got so loud up in the building. Shout out to my man, by the way. And so this is a quote direct from President Trump via Truth Social. Okay, I don't actually use that platform at all. Zero, zip, nada. But it is a quote off of it from Trump saying we should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant grape gangs, drug lords, murders, and people from mental institutions entering our country. So that we don't end up like Europe. And it's true. You guys can easily look at, like, for instance, the UK. I mean, how did it work out? Fucking terribly. It worked out fucking absurdly, actually.
Rape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions entering our country so that we don't end up.
Brother War Gorilla, my man over there in Vegas. Good to see my homie right there.
Like Europe. And meanwhile, we did also want to let you know that President Trump is going to be delivering his address to Congress on Tuesday.
And I'm right now, I'm 50-50 that I'm going to be covering this right here. When Trump addresses Congress live, I most likely am going to, I plan on it to live stream this event. It would be something that obviously is fitting for what we do here. So there's a pretty big chance that we're going to do this tomorrow. So we'll have the morning show at 10 like we normally do. Then at 7 p.m. CST my time, not 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, we shall be doing this. Hopefully, if time allots for it, then I will.
Tuesday, March 4th, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is tomorrow. We will bring you all of that live coverage here on Live Now from Fox. And speaking of that, as we take a look at the White House on this Monday morning, a very busy week as we look ahead, as President Trump plans to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting tomorrow, in addition to doubling the 10%
Shit, Frederick, good to see you too as well, man.
Universal tariff charged on imports from China. President Trump says illicit drugs like fentanyl are being smuggled into the United States at unacceptable levels, and that import taxes would force other countries to crack down on the trafficking. Now, the president had previously agreed to a 30-day suspension of the Canada and Mexico tariffs that were initially supposed to start in February.
Yo, brother Bob up there in Canada, good morning to you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic.
And in an effort to curb illegal drugs and immigration issues, Canada created a fentanyl czar, and Mexico sent 10,000 members of its National Guard to its border with the United States. So beginning tomorrow, President Trump intends to put 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada, with a lower 10% tax on Canadian energy products like oil and electricity. And as I mentioned, President Trump will deliver his address to Congress, likely touching on topics like the tariffs, Ukraine, and federal budget cuts. Our next story now takes us across the pond right here to Italy, where Pope Francis...
And now we're going to get a small update on Pope Francis. We're go ahead and get a little bit of insight of what's happening. We know that he has been steadily getting very on a small side, but at least he's going on the better side of things and not the worst side of things. He is steadily getting little bit, better day by day, but still in critical condition.
Francis remains in stable condition at the
He's in stable. Maybe that changed over the weekend like that. I didn't know that.
Hospital. You're taking a live look at the hospital where Pope Francis first arrived on February 14th with bronchitis, then developing double pneumonia. And I did want to share the very latest from the Vatican, as the Vatican says that Pope Francis slept well throughout the night. That's according to
1000% straitjacket
to the Holy See press office. The latest update follows.
Yo, Mount High up in the building. Shout out to my man right there. And left-handed tobacco is all the way around in this joint. Yes, sir. It's incoming right now, actually. Fuck it. Yes, sir. Little purple train wreck for the homie, you know what I mean? Shit. That's left-handed tobacco, by the way, just in case YouTube wanted to know. What's up, Jake? Hopefully you're doing fantastic in the house. Yes, sir. Yes, you are. Listening while working. Absolutely, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic, because over here, we sure the fuck are.
Sunday evening statement that indicated the Pope's conditions have remained stable. Giving further details, the press office noted that the Pope has not required non-invasive mechanical ventilation that he used in the recent days, but he was still receiving supplemental high-flow oxygenation. It also noted that Pope Francis does not have a fever, and consistent with the complexity of Pope Francis's clinical condition, the Vatican says that the prognosis remains guarded.
Yo, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm a fucking dickhead. Okay. This is what happens when you don't look at your phone and you're focused on the stream, and then you realize, oh shit, something came in, and allegedly, I was looking to see if she sent like a message, and she didn't, which is insane to me that she selflessly helps out the show like she does. So I want to thank her sincerely for it. She sent $50 on the Cash App, man. I can't thank you allegedly enough for that. With zero comment on it, man. So she just wanted to show support, man, and I really appreciate that. Really.
Now, he did participate in Holy Mass with those who have been caring for him during his hospitalization on Sunday. He spent the remainder of the day alternating between rest and prayer. So we did want to bring you the very latest out of Rome as we continue to closely follow all of the developments with Pope Francis as he...
I was just about to say that, by the way, on that comment above, Steve. I was about to say, oh, man, good moneymaker. Good, fantastic moneymaker.
Remains there in the hospital. Meanwhile, I did also want to share this live look right here. This is of Los Angeles. It's a very dark Monday morning right there, but we wanted to get the very latest out of the Academy Awards. But first, also wanting to share this, that an earthquake rattled Hollywood after the Oscar ceremonies. And we did want to bring you the very latest information on that, as there was an earthquake that rattled Hollywood afterwards. Now, there weren't any reported injuries, but we did want to share that with you as we continue to follow the very latest out of Hollywood. And if you were going to bed a little bit early, we did also want to share the latest with you, as this is the list of winners at the 90.
I don't care about that. I'm going to be honest. I don't give a fuck about none of this. At least you guys see it. You guys can read it, but I'm not going to sit here and continue with that bullshit. That bullshit. All right, so we're gonna be skipping ahead here, and I'll read the headlines as we skip through them, so that you guys know what is happening actively today. So British Prime Minister Starmer discusses Ukraine, which I'm not going to sit here and listen to some commie speak. Basically all these motherfuckers are commies. I mean, look at this fucking commie on the screen right here. Here we go. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau fucking discusses tariffs and Ukraine. Let's go ahead and hear this out.
As you know, this past week we've had a number of ministers and heads of agencies, including the CBSA and the RCMP, in Washington to share the concrete measures that we've moved forward with on the border, whether it's the $1.3 billion that have led to new helicopters, drones, 10,000 personnel now across our borders. These are measures that have seen significant reductions in even the small amount of fentanyl that was passing across our borders. This is work that we are doing, as we always have, with the United States to ensure the safety of our border from illegal flows in both directions. The facts establish very clearly that Canada is not an issue in terms of source of illegal fentanyl into the United States. We had about less than 1% when we first started talking about this many months ago. That number is significantly lower than that, even now. But we all know the American administration will make its own choices in terms of tariffs. We will continue to work to ensure, to do everything we can to make sure that there are no tariffs on Tuesday. But if ever there were tariffs on Tuesday, this
is what's crazy. We had a fucking free trade agreement, okay? We had a free trade agreement between Mexico and Canada and the United States, okay? It's very simple. And then in 2022, tell me why. In 2022, this dickhead right here puts a 2.5% tariff on American, whatever. I'm like sitting here going, hold on. I thought we had a fucking free trade agreement. Now, a tariff is a tariff nonetheless. I don't care how small it is. I thought we had a free trade agreement. So it's like, well, what the fuck? Now you're upset that all of a sudden we're fucking giving you a fucking tariff? Yeah, we're fucking replying back saying, fuck you, bitch. That's what we're doing. Shit.
Stupid. We have all seen, as we were ready to do last time, we will have a strong, unequivocal, and proportional response as Canadians expect. I have now been working with Donald Trump for about 8 years. And we've managed to get a lot of big things done. We renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement into a deal that...
You can't even bring up the frickin' Free Trade Agreement. You fucked it up, idiot.
Works well for everyone. We've managed to strengthen and see NATO grow even stronger over the past years. There's many different things that we will always look to work with the United States, while at the same time being very, very clear in direct conversations about what Canadian values are and how
2022 Biker News Canada
Canadians expect us to stand.
Martin from Sky News. Welcome to London, Mr. Trudeau. Thank you. There's a lot of pressure on European nations to increase defence spending especially because it was front and center of this summit today. Sir Keir Starmer has announced an increase in defence spending for the United Kingdom. But as you'll know, Canada continues to not spend enough. You aren't meeting your 2% target on defence spending, and the predictions are that you're not going to do that until 2030. That's not good enough given the change of events, is it?
Well, the world has changed. The time of peace that we had after the Cold War has been upended, and it is now necessary for countries to be spending significantly more on defense. And Canada is no exception to that. When I took office in 2015, Canada was spending, despite the NATO guarantee of a few years before, Canada was spending less than 1% on defense. It was my government that has tripled defense spending between then and 2030, and we're actually on track to reach that 2%. Now, we understand we all need to do more, and we are busy doing more, including buying 88 F-35s, moving forward on a dozen new submarines to help patrol the Arctic, making investments in NORAD, making investments in capacities, including making investments for Ukraine. And we will continue to do more. That is what not just our allies expect, that's what Canadians expect, and we will keep doing that.
And you failed Canadians, by the way, idiot.
Emotional damage.
Failed not only Canadians, but you failed everything else. You failed in the world. It's obvious. It's evident. Get the fuck out.
Do you think that Canada will reach that 2% way before 2032? And just to follow up, we all saw the events in the Oval Office the other day. President Trump has been very critical of your own defense spending. Given what we've seen, do you see President Trump as an ally or an adversary in all of this?
The United States will always be an ally. Americans and Canadians and indeed allies from around the world have stood and fought against...
Like our baby son. Not like a 16-year-old son that you're taking care of type of thing. Where they're a little self-sufficient. No. Totally a toddler. You know, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, 100%.
Tyranny and fascism and Nazism. And
I'll show you. I'll send it to you.
Stood and died together on battlefields across Europe and in various places. We will continue to work together to build a stronger world.
True.
It's
it's like many different cultures out there. You know, it's never like the fucking heart of the people. It's never the citizen. It's never that. It always seems to be led by the government. Always, and the government is the demise of a lot of nations. We see it around the world. We can't allow that kind of shit to happen. Obviously, meaning here, even though this is exactly why you see the reaction that you do in America, because we're taking our shit back. Actively, as you guys right now, we are taking our fucking shit back. And yeah, I said it.
News. You were, of course, Prime Minister during President Trump's first term, and he was adamant even then about the 2% NATO commitment. Do you think it's perhaps one of your biggest mistakes not to have addressed that in his years out of office, because he was always going to come back and press on that point again?
As I said, Canada has more than tripled its defense spending between 2015 to 2030. That was a decision that we took after a conservative government had allowed our defense spending to slip below 1%. We are now on track to reaching the 2%. And indeed, it's not about just focusing on the numbers, although, yes, we need to reach those numbers. It's about ensuring that Canada has the capacity to defend the Arctic, to be there for our NATO allies, as we are in Latvia.
Okay, I just need to say something. Listen, you guys don't necessarily have to like politics. You guys don't necessarily have to like the crazy lefty loonies, but you guys can go ahead and hit that like button for titties. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Big, too enthusiastic thumbs up on titties. So, hey, thank you guys for the support.
Leading the enhanced forward presence. We are going to continue to be stepping up because, quite frankly, Canadian men and women of the armed forces are respected and valued and needed in contexts around the world. And the biggest grumble of many of our partners is, we love Canada, we just need a little more of you. And that is exactly why the Chief of Defence Staff has increased enrollment in the Canadian Armed Forces, and we're stepping up in a number of ways to ensure that we're increasing our defence spending. And I have no doubt that the next Prime Minister of Canada will continue to do just that.
And you and all of the leaders that you met with today have made many trips to Ukraine over recent years, trips that Vice President J.D. Vance called propaganda tours. Do you think now that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance themselves should travel to Ukraine to see what the situation actually is, given the factual errors they made in that Oval Office meeting on the situation?
I think there's no substitute for
Yo, can this guy fucking just wrap it up? Like, I hate this dude.
Being there on the ground and seeing both the sandbags on street corners in Kyiv, talking with Ukrainians who express concerns for their loved ones, their brothers, their fathers who are on the front lines, but also see the resilience and the strength and the determination of Ukrainians as they go about their daily lives, as they continue to go to movies and eat on street-side patios and have a semblance of a normal life, even as an enemy country is busy trying to kill their family members and take their land. Ukrainians are an extraordinary inspiration to all who meet them. Canada is lucky to have the second largest Ukrainian diaspora in the world. And we have known for over 100 years how incredible Ukrainians are. And I think it would do well for any and all leaders who have the opportunity to go to Ukraine, to spend a little time with heroic Ukrainians who are fighting not just for their own sovereignty, but for the very principles that underpin all of our democracies. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Thank God. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Emotional damage.
I feel like I have emotional damage after that. Jesus. All right. Let's just go ahead and skip ahead. European leaders agree to certain steps to Ukraine peace. Don't give a fuck about your European leaders. Bunch of commies. All right. So we got Director of National Intelligence. We got Tulsi Gabbard discusses Ukraine. Of course, we want to hear what Tulsi has to say. So we're going to go ahead and do exactly that. Yes, let's bring it back. What is happening? Hold on. I want to make sure we get this. Okay.
Fox, I'm Stephanie Quinn. Time right now is 6:45 Eastern at 3:45 Pacific on this Monday morning. Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, speaking about the issue of Ukraine, the ongoing war with Russia. Speaking on Fox News Sunday, let's play that out for you right now.
Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, welcome to Fox News Sunday.
No, you got to understand, I'm like really greedy, Steve. Really greedy with certain things. Yeah.
Monday.
Morning, Shannon.
So what is the intelligence community's assessment of Vladimir Putin and his future ambitions?
Well, I want to focus, first of all, on President Trump's goal and the reality that's on the ground. And that's the thing that seems to be getting lost in what we're seeing in President Zelensky's statements in the White House and the European leaders' response to this. President Trump recognizes the urgent need to end this war after 3 long, bloody years and has proven that he is the only person that can do this. President Zelensky has different aims in mind. He has said that he wants to end this war, but he will only accept an end, apparently, that leads to what he views as Ukraine's victory, even if it comes at an incredibly high cost of potentially World War III or even a nuclear war.
Listen, I've been saying for like a year that if we have, well, when World War III happens, if it happens during this time frame, it's going to happen with Russia and Ukraine. Been saying that for a year.
President Trump is committed to peace and to freedom. We're seeing this big divergence here between his position and his commitment to these values and the interests of the American people and the interests of President Zelensky and these European leaders. This is an issue that has to be resolved.
Lappy, man, do you see how beautiful the Insane Wheels page is? You're not going to get this kind of valuetainment. You're not going to get this kind of value off of the mainstream media. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Yes, sir.
Solved. I know President Trump is committed to doing this, and that's really where the next step needs to lead.
Yeah, so what is that next step? Because one of the criticisms of the Biden administration is that they hadn't talked to Putin for years. President Trump is doing that. He's having that conversation. But now it seems the relationship with Zelensky is broken, at least temporarily. How does that get back on track? Because he's got to be part of the conversation as well.
Of course, and President Trump has made very clear that in his previous conversations with both Putin and Zelensky that he wants to engage with both. He wants to engage in honest and real negotiations. And unfortunately, what happened in the White House after close to an hour of conversation, when President Zelensky directly challenged President Trump and Vice President Vance in front of the media and the American people, he really showed his lack of interest in any real good faith negotiations. I can tell you there were a lot of conversations that were happening through.
Shit, Mr. Boulay, Alabama's finest, my man, coming in hot with the 10th spot, saying today is the birthday of actor James Doohan. Is that Doohan? See, this is how bad this is terrible for me. Sorry. March 3rd of 1920 to July 20th, 2005, who portrayed Scotty in the original Star Trek cast. Thank you, Scotty, for being my inspiration in becoming an engineer. Wow, that's fucking awesome right there. Thank you, Mr. Boulay. I very much appreciate your, help and monetary help on that regard, man. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you for selflessly helping. Man.
Different emissaries, both for Zelensky and for President Trump, leading up to his visit there to the Oval Office. And President Zelensky's immediate escalation there was frankly quite a surprise. This has created a huge rift in the relationship. President Zelensky, as you pointed out in the clips that you played, doesn't believe that he did anything wrong.
Listen, I'll just say what everyone thinks, all right? That little streak in her hair, yeah, that gets a motherfucker going. Shit, I said it. Oh, shit.
Wrong, and that there was no issue with what he brought up in the Oval Office with President Trump. There's going to have to be a rebuilding of any kind of interest in good faith negotiations, I think, before President Trump is going to be willing to re-engage.
Yeah, and Naomi becoming a member, by the way, very much appreciate you saying, bend that like button over and spank it. Yes, indeed. And all I see is W's, kind sir. That's all I
on
see.
this.
One of the things that might have gotten lost in the shuffle as people were trying to listen and now they're talking over each other. We've all seen the clips there from the Oval Office. Zelensky was saying, we did have ceasefires. I have signed onto other agreements. And yet Putin crossed those lines. He said he blew up the ceasefires. He killed my people. Does he not have a valid point that there should be real, understanding his frustrations and skepticism that Putin is actually going to be a reliable partner in whatever deal comes together?
Really, there's two viable paths here. One is that this war continues on as it has for over 3 years.
Yo, cut to the chase. Good to see my man, by the way. Yes. We got to get our left-handed tobacco in now. We're going to go ahead and do a brief little pause, to what's going on here. Wow, that was a small one. Okay, we're good. See? Boom. Ding, ding. All right.
More and more Ukrainians will lose their lives. More and more of the country of Ukraine will be decimated and destroyed in this, what will continue to be essentially a war of attrition. And to what end? To what outcome? President Trump sees this reality. So the alternative to this, which he is so intent on, which he talked about continuously throughout his campaign, that the American people voted for, is his commitment to ending this war and bringing about peace. That requires bringing interested parties.
Oh, Naomi. She dropping a 10 spot as well, saying also support because Mike works hard as fuck to give y'all a good show. Wow, thank you for that. Thank you, Naomi. I really, really do appreciate that. It means the world to me. And thank you guys for helping out the show immensely, man. Sincerely.
To the table to conduct these negotiations. Of course, both sides are going to have their arguments and their...
Yes, finally, Straight Jacket did a good decision right there. Like, I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. You guys need some left-handed tobacco needs education-wise, by the way, YouTube. Yeah, that's my boy right there, Jay Goldbar.
Interest that they are fighting for. This is the reality of how these negotiations always occur during times of war. Neither side is going to be happy, very likely, with the outcome, but ultimately it needs to lead to peace. And that's what President Trump is so committed to, because he recognizes that the longer this goes on, not only are more Ukrainians losing their lives, but it increases the potential of this escalation towards World War III that he warned against as he sat there with Zelensky, saying that he's gambling with World War III, and that's not a cost that President Trump is willing to accept.
I want to put something up.
Dark Horse up in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're doing fantastic as well. Another Alabama resident down here, man. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Hopefully you're having a fantastic, or you had a fantastic weekend and having a great start to your Monday.
A PIAC poll just days ago. This was before the incident in the Oval Office, if that's what we want to call it.
Oh, shit, VT. VT dropping like it's motherfucking hot up in this bitch. Salute, kind sir. That is very selfless of you. Thank you for that. That is, man, I can't do this shit without you guys. So you guys make this shit happen, and I'm very honored by that.
And it asked the American people, do you think the U.S. should trust Russian President Vladimir Putin? 81% of them said no. You know, it's hard to get 81% of Americans to agree on anything, but they're united on that. So why does this administration trust Putin?
I think President Trump goes in with the cynical eye as he does. I imagine with any deal that he's made, it's not about blind trust at all. It's about looking at the factors that are on the table, negotiating with all interested parties. And then for President Trump, ultimately, he's going to look out for what's in the best interest of the American people, our ability to live in a peaceful and prosperous way in our country, and uphold the values of freedom that we hold dear. So I think, again, President Trump has a very realist view of the picture and what's at stake, which is why he's so committed to working to bring about an end to this war. And frankly, why he's proven that as this war has been waged over the last 3 years, he's the only one that has the ability to do that.
So our next guest coming up, Democratic Congressman, Senator Chris Van Hollen, says that he is very worried about what he saw on Friday, what it communicates. He says the people who are celebrating are Russia and Putin, Xi and China, people who don't have America's best interests.
And it wasn't enough for VT to gift out, 5 out to everyone else. He goes, well, I got to go ahead and sign myself up, renew that as well for his 4th month, by the way, saying not a problem. You're all welcome. Thank you, VT. And anybody that got gifted memberships, make sure you guys thank the ones that purchased them for you guys, because they're the ones that make that shit happen, man. So I very much appreciate that.
At heart. And we do have over the weekend a number of reactions out of Russia. You've got Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov saying President Trump's the one using common sense and that we like the way he's acting. You've got the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov saying what the U.S. is doing is changing the game, and it largely coincides with our vision. What do you make of Russia celebrating and saying what the U.S. is doing lines up with their vision?
They're going to say what their position is. What we should pay attention to here in the United States of America is the American people, so many people across the country celebrating the strong leadership that President Trump and Vice President Vance.
What's up, Dory? That's right. Fuck around, and sometimes they actually do find out, by the way. Good to see you, Dory, by the way.
Demonstrated in the Oval Office, something we have not seen over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, where we finally have a president who's going to stand up strongly and fiercely and unwaveringly for the cause of peace and freedom for the American people. I know that that is who President Trump has on his heart and on his mind as he is working towards bringing about a negotiated end to this war. I think those who are criticizing his efforts in this way are showing that they are not committed to peace. And in the case of many of those European countries, that they're not committed to the cause and values of freedom. Even though they speak of this, we heard very clearly during Vice President Vance's speech in Munich, different examples of how these European partners and longtime allies in many cases are actually implementing policies that undermine democracy, that shows that they don't actually believe in the voices of the people being heard, and implementing anti-freedom policies. We're seeing this in the United Kingdom. We're seeing this in Germany. We saw it with the tossing out of the elections in Romania. So there's something fundamentally deeper here that shows a huge difference in divergence between the values that President Trump and Vice President Vance are fighting for, the values that are enshrined in our Constitution, the interests of the American people in our peace and freedom and national security, versus those of many of these European countries who are coming to Zelensky's side as he walked out of the White House, saying basically that they are going to support him in continuing this.
Listen, Steve, I've been there. So been there, done that. I feel for the homie.
War, and that they don't stand with us around these fundamental values of freedom.
Well, and they also, though, think that they're in more alignment, and they should be, with the U.S. when it comes to those freedoms and things you talk about. Certainly, those are not things that you would say that Russia or Putin celebrates or bestows on his own people.
That's correct. I would not make that claim, and it's clear that that's not the case, nor does President Trump. But that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about many of these European countries and Zelensky himself, who claim to be standing and fighting for the cause of freedom and democracy, when we actually look at what's happening in reality in these countries, as well as with Zelensky's government in Ukraine, is the exact opposite. You have the canceling of elections in Ukraine. You have political parties being silenced or even criminalized or thrown in prison. You have the freedom of religion, churches being shut down. You have political opposition being silenced. You have total government control of the media. We could go down a whole laundry list of issues that are against the values of democracy and freedom. So it really begs the question, as Vice President Vance said again in Munich, it's clear that they're standing against Putin. Obviously, that's clear. But what are they actually really fighting for? And are they aligned with the values that they claim to hold in agreement with us? The values that President Trump and Vice President Vance are standing for, and those are the values of freedom, of peace, and true security.
All right, so the way that you describe Ukraine and the way that most Americans and most of the world understands Russia, are you saying it's essentially choosing between the lesser of two evils?
What I'm focused on is what President Trump is focused on, which is peace, seeing the world through a very clear picture and making sure that the president is having honest and good faith negotiations with both of these countries to bring about an end to this war. That is what it's about. That lives are at stake. The potential of World War III, if this war continues to go on and escalate, is what's at stake. And again, President Trump will make his decisions and will stay very focused on what is in the best interest of the American people and ensuring that future of peace and freedom.
All right, and we'll stay tuned to see where the reset is. Of national.
All right, we thank Fox News Sunday for that interview with Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Coming up after the break, we're taking a look at the top political headlines of the upcoming week. We'll be right back.
We're going to go ahead and bring that up here in a second.
Spending bill is not passed.
Okay, hold on. I want to hear that. I want to hear that.
As we're taking a live look of the U.S. Capitol right here on this beautiful Monday morning, President Trump set to deliver his address to Congress tomorrow, likely.
Man, that's going to be such a fantastic address. Oh, man. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a fucking savagery.
On topics such as the upcoming tariffs set to take place tomorrow against Canada, Mexico, as well as China, the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, and federal budget cuts. Meanwhile, the federal government will run out of money on March 14th if a new spending bill is not passed. Democrats want assurances that President Trump will not move to unilaterally cut cash flows appropriated by Congress, which they say is against the law. Now, Republicans are opposing that, but House Speaker Mike Johnson does suggest that he is open to not including the cuts that Doge has made into this funding bill, adding that it's an issue Republicans could address later on. Not all Republicans are happy.
Yo, brother Kel up there in Canada, it's been a fat minute since I've seen you, dude. So hopefully you're doing fantastic. Good to see you, and hopefully you're having a great start to your week. And everyone else too.
Some are pushing back, saying that they do not want to fund the programs Doge has already slashed. To talk more on all of these political headlines, I do want to bring in Henry Olsen, who is a political analyst.
No.
Henry, as always, we appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, why is there always some fucking dude like that? How come they never call a guy like me? Call this political analyst, you know? Why am I not on the fucking show? Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on. We have an International Atomic Energy Agency discusses nuclear agenda. We're not going to go ahead and listen to that. We're just fast forwarding as we go through. Okay, so there was a little bit more of an update regards to what we covered in the very top of the show regarding Israel and the stabbing that happened in northern Israel. And it left one person dead and 4 people were injured. So we already reported on that. They're just probably giving a little update on that. So let's go ahead and continue on. European Commission on lowering pollution levels. And it's to me, it's kind of wild to me, the whole climate change, like the not only that, but just the atmosphere in general, you know, like how much money is spent into that. It's just unreal. And every time that we have anytime we have something like this being kind of thrown out there regarding this type of stuff, climate, whatever, they're just asking for more money every single fucking time. They're just asking for more and more money. So let's go ahead and move it on ahead. We already know regards to the Trump plans, tariffs on Mexico and Canada for Tuesday, which is tomorrow, obviously. As we continue on, let's continue. I want to see. Now, we're not going to hear David Mencer speak today. We don't need to hear David Mencer over there from the Israeli government. What's happening
from earlier today?
Okay, and they're still giving updates regarding Israel. I want to see if they announce the exact time that Melania Trump is going to be addressing the nation today. I sincerely am looking for it. There was a power outage at BWI Airport. Flight delays possible. Of course, you know, that's not anything that is not unnormal at this point. I mean, fuck. Flights are absolutely wild right now. So, rally on Consumer Financial Protection Bureau lawsuit. No, we're just going to go ahead and keep skipping. Keep on skipping. Rally against termination of hundreds of NOAA employees. I'm not really sure what NOAA actually is. Okay, so up here, I found the times up here on the left. So 1:30 p.m. Eastern, by the way, President Trump makes an investment announcement, which is fantastic. But we will hear that at 1:30 Eastern. And then at 2, the First Lady Melania Trump holds roundtable in support of Take It Down Act. I don't know what that is. I'll have to do some research on that. We're going to hear that later on today. I'm not going to be live streaming it, but we'll, at least you guys know it's happening today. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern, Senate is to vote on President Trump's Education Secretary nominee, Linda McCon. I think that I don't know how to say her fucking last name. I'm going to be real. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that covers up the morning right there, man. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for being here, because you guys could have picked anywhere else in the world to be, and yet you guys decided to be right here. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out, man. I always sincerely appreciate it. And listen, stick around, because we're going to be rating our homie Flo over there on the Powder Dusty. Go ahead and show him a little love and say that we got a Mike Ball raid, and go ahead and, like his video as well and subscribe over to him. It will, we spread the love around here, man. So with that being said, God bless to everybody, and see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart, steel, and a spirit. submit. Insane wheels here, it's back to cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report.